Hello, PVNH family. My name is Lindsey Sponseller. I'm from Ohio in the United States. I am married and I have 7-year-old twins. My diagnosis is bilateral multinodular PVNH with associated epilepsy. Before surgery, I had epileptic episodes every day. My surgeon described them as that my epilepsy, the smaller episodes would spark. My brain was constantly sparking. When I had grand mal seizures, that would be my brain setting fire. But my brain was constantly sparking before I had surgery. So I had tonic-clonic seizures, but I also had simple complex partial seizures. My seizures manifested when I was about 30 years old. I was on my way home from work. I thought I was just tired, so I pulled over to get a pop on the way home from work. And as I was going through the drive-thru, I got a euphoric feeling, like a high feeling. And I didn't understand it at the time, but now I realize that that was a seizure aura for me. And I pulled out of the driveway, which I don't remember. And the next thing I remember, I woke up in the emergency room because I had wrecked my vehicle into the brick building next door to the drive-thru. So that's how my seizures manifested. I had an appointment with a neurologist because before that, I had talked to my primary care doctor about episodes that involved numbness and tingling in the right side of my face and up the back of my head and in my arms and legs. And that primary care physician had told me that it was likely MS, and I was scheduled to see a neurologist at that time, but the appointment was 6 months out. So as soon as I ran my car into the building, I was able to see a neurologist right away at that hospital. That was March 24th, 2011. And March 25th, 2011, I was able to get an MRI and have the diagnosis of paraventricular nodular heterotopia. I was on many anti-epileptic drugs. My heterotopia was medication resistant. Right now, I am still taking Onfi and Zonogram Lamictal. I am on the highest dose of Zonogram possible. I take a low dose of Onfi because of its sedating qualities. And I'm also on a low dose of Lamictal because I don't tolerate it as well. It tends to give me a rash. So I take as much of that as I can. I'm hoping in 6 months, because of the positive outcome of surgery, to start going down on that medication. What brought me to considering surgery was that the neurologist that I had seen previously had told my husband and I in an appointment that I had 0% chance of ever driving again, and 0% chance of ever getting better again. We just didn't want to take that as to be true. So we wanted to find a way that I would get better. He left his practice and he said, if you want to pursue surgery, the best place for surgery in Ohio is Cleveland Clinic. So I would check with Cleveland Clinic. We went and talked to Dr. Bernard Chang, who I did research with, did a research study with in Boston, and he recommended Dr. Najam at Cleveland Clinic, and he got me his contact information, and I contacted him and was able to set up an appointment, and they got me in. I went in and talked to Dr. Najam. I asked Dr. Najam when I went in if he could give me 1% hope And that's all I wanted. I just needed a little bit of hope. And he said that he could do better than that he would give me 10% hope. And I said that I would take it, that I would take 10% hope of getting better. I just wanted something to hold on to. The tests that I had before surgery and that were set up that day were inpatient video monitoring in the epilepsy monitoring unit. I had a MEG testing. I had MRIs, including a 7 Tesla MRI, which is research MRI, which is very hard to find, which I was blessed that Cleveland Clinic has one on their campus. I also took part in a research functional MRI. I had a PET scan. I also had a test where a nurse stayed in my room until I had a seizure, and then they injected me with radioactive isotope to lit up the seizure activity on the side of the brain that was active in a seizure, so that they could see where exactly in my brain the seizure was happening. And then I was taken down to scanning. The biggest part of my testing, I guess you would say, was after all this was done, they asked me if I wanted and how far I wanted to go with this. If I wanted to put how far I wanted to put the pedal down is how the rounding doctor told me. Dr. Alexopoulos said, and do you want to put the pedal clear to the floor or not? And I said, yeah, let's put it clear to the floor. And so an SEEG surgery was ordered. SEEG is what the doctors had told me would give them a front row seat to my epilepsy. SEEG is basically an internal EEG. It places small spaghetti-like noodles inside your brain, close to the nodules of heterotopia, so that they can see where the activity is occurring. On my activity, the neuro team suspected that seizure-causing activity was occurring on the right side of my brain. However, I wanted to be very certain before they went in and started taking out brain tissue that it was for sure the right and not the left, since I do have bilateral heterotopia. I didn't want them to take out the right side and then still have seizure activity from the left side. So SEEG was a very important part of my preoperative study. On an SEEG surgery, they can have up to 20 holes. Because mine was on the right side, my epilepsy they thought was on the right side, I had 15 holes on the right side and 5 holes on the left side. They did conclude, the neuro team did conclude that my epilepsy was coming from the heterotopia on the right side, and we went ahead with the ablation of the heterotopia with laser on the right side of the brain. The surgery prep was the day before surgery. It just consisted of EEG, labs, a doctor's appointment that took blood pressure and asked allergies and that sort of thing, an admissions appointment, a CAT scan, just the normal things. I was not awake during any of the surgery. About the success rate, after I went in to the doctor's office that first day and asked about the success of the process, and I asked for that 1% hope, and then he gave me 10%. I had felt a growing hope among the neuro team, but I never asked for a number again. I didn't need that. So about the success rate, I never asked again what the success rate of the surgery would be. I felt that it was a newer surgery, and I didn't I never asked again. I felt that they were confident. I felt confident in the team, and I wasn't worried about that. The risks of the surgery as described to me were obviously the risks of anesthesia, the regular risks of anesthesia, which could include death, not waking up from anesthesia. There could be a brain bleed if they hit an artery or hit a vein of some sort. There's also risk if they're working on taking out, ablating something on the right side. It controls the left side of the body. So there's also risk involved impairing part of the left side of the body. I was in the hospital for one day. I was supposed to go to neuro step down. There was no beds on neuro step down, so I stayed in the recovery unit in one of their ICU beds for one day, and then I went home the next day. I do still take anti-epileptic drugs. We addressed that earlier, which ones I was still on. In 6 months, I plan on weaning off of those, with the doctor's help, of course. I will be working with Dr. Najam on that. I feel great. I have been approved to start running again. I've been either running or walking 2 to 3 miles a day, at least 5 days a week. I'm running / walking a 5K on June 17th. So I'm feeling great. I'm very excited. I'm not afraid to go out without my husband. I no longer carry my syringes with me when I go places in case I have a seizure in public. I no longer worry about having my medical alert necklace on. I no longer worry about using the stove when my husband's not home. I no longer worry about having the kids take showers or baths when my husband's not home. I feel comfortable with that, with them giving themselves baths when he's not here. A lot has changed in our lives since surgery. What has surgery done for me? Surgery has given me back a lot of my independence. I can't drive yet, but it has given me back part of the spark that I once had. It has just done so much for me. I used to be very independent. I used to love to travel, and for a long time, epilepsy grounded me and made me afraid to go out of the house, made me embarrassed to go out because I was worried about having a seizure in public, made me almost introverted. It made me a different person. I'm an extroverted person, and it made me someone who I was not. And this has given me part of who I am back. I just can't be more grateful for the success of the surgery. If somebody were recommended surgery, what advice would I have for them? I would say find the right doctor and find the right team. The right doctor and the right team for you might look different than the right doctor and the right team for me, but I highly recommend the Cleveland Clinic and my surgeon. When I was in the waiting room one day and I was feeling nervous, 2 people came up to me and talked to me about their success stories. One gentleman had told me that he had epilepsy since he was born, and that he was healed, and every day was a new day. And Dr. Martinez Gonzalez had done his surgery as well. I would say also do it your own way. I knew that my hair was going to be shaved off, and so before I went into surgery, I donated my hair to Locks of Love, and so that made me feel better about losing my hair. I did it my own way, like do things that make you feel good about, like make you feel like you have some control over your situation. To learn more about my journey and to see pictures of, you can see pictures of the SEEG stitches, and you can see pictures of my shaved head if you want, or to see pictures of me and the unit, you can go to my blog at www.raredisesepvnh.com. There haven't been many updates recently because we are moving. I did just post several pictures, but Cleveland Clinic Epilepsy Monitoring Unit. Dr. Najam is my neurologist. Dr. Alexopoulos rounded on me and was wonderful. And my surgeon, Dr. Gonzalez Martinez, is just amazing. They're an amazing team, and I would highly recommend them. So thank you. Thank you, PVNH family, for this opportunity to share with you my PVNH journey. Have a wonderful time in Glasgow. Hopefully I'll see you at the next conference.